All right, I'm back at it.
Are in.
Episode 2, official of Fresh Brother Nick and John. I'm Nick.
I am John.
Been a bit of a hiatus since our last episode.
We've been dwelling on our lives and in my headset.
Today we're having on a good buddy of ours, boy Talha. And once I'm done finishing this rice cake, we'll get him in here.
We'll just jump right into it.
So what's good? What you eating over there?
Some chicken some chicken and some rice. Bro, everything I cook
Nice.
is fucking hold up, I should probably move the camera. My fucking Instant Pot back there, bro. Everything I make.
Just so you know,
Mhm.
we do put this up on YouTube. So if there's any addresses on those boxes, you're done.
You're donezo, bro.
Dude, if somebody can zoom in on those boxes, that's like, I'll be impressed. I'll be very,
Challenge.
very impressed.
That's a challenge to my
Some
28
NCIS.
subscribers.
Dude, you got 28 subscribers. Like,
29.
you didn't even you just put the video up and that's it.
We got
Yeah,
a
29.
we got a small
It's a 29.
fan base, but we have the world's strongest fan base.
Oh yeah.
We've already
They all love
lifted
us.
3 mountains.
Oh yeah.
Um,
One Indian dude now.
if Joe Rogan can sip
Cool.
whiskey and do drugs on his podcast, I can eat a rice cake in mine, right?
Of course.
All right.
A
I'm
rice cake is the least. I mean, why couldn't you eat a rice cake?
Because the crunching is annoying as hell, and
my
I'm sure it's gonna come out real loud on the other end.
Nah, you're
So,
good.
all right. So I got back. I got home like
Oh, yeah,
30.
Tell us about your
Dude.
swimming with sharks, man.
Sharks.
So let me just preface this story with I once had a dream of saving up enough money to buying like a small to moderate sized sailboat and like taking a year and sailing the Caribbean. Like it's like a pipe dream of mine. I always want to do down the road. I used to read some blog. There's a couple that used to do that. Anyway, we get on the boat today. Super cool, little choppy, little rainy, no big
It
deal.
was like a small sailboat.
This boat, yeah, medium size, kind of like a fishing boat, decked out for tourists though because they had like seats on it and crap. So we get on the boat, it's wild. They take you out 3 miles off the North Shore. So I'm like here, I'm like all the way up here.
That's deep.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Excuse me. So we get up there, and we went at the 7:30 tour because the guy was like, 7:30 tour is the first one of the day, and it's gonna be like the calmest water. For some reason, water's calmer in the morning.
Mhm.
We get out there. There's just this cage. Like they don't bring the cage with you. I don't really know why. I thought like maybe it'd be attached to the boat or some shit.
Which is
Out
there.
it's just out in the water. It's like,
They probably put it out there with a bigger boat.
well, yeah, someone put it there, but like it just stays there. And so they like roll up, they attach a whole bunch of ropes, they tie themselves to it, and they anchor. But like the wind and the rain were kind of picking up, so the boat was like boom, boom, boom. So it was the 4 of us, this other family, there's a couple
The
with 2
four,
kids.
like all your roommates.
No, it was me, Jackie, Heather, and Greg. I don't.
Okay.
Jess is other somewhere else. So I'm out there, and the boat's rocking, and we're going second. The family got to go first. We're rocking, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting like tipsy. I don't got my sea legs on.
You guys made the family go first, man.
Well,
that's
no. This is what the guy says to us. He goes, listen, we were gonna have you 4 go first, but because the seas are choppy now, they only get worse throughout the day. We're gonna have the little kids go now, so that when it picks up, you guys are in the water and not the kids. And we're just like, okay, yeah, we're expendable,
Perfect.
whatever. Send us out there. So I get out there. Or I'm on the boat, and I can barely even open my eyes. It's so rocky. I'm just like, oh my god, it's terrible. So, but the sharks are everywhere. So
That's wild, man.
apparently where they bring you out to look at the sharks, it's like a popular crab fishing spot. So the sharks, I guess like when you fish for crab, there's like certain ones you can't keep legally. You have to like throw them overboard, like women or like certain size crabs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sharks figured out when they hear the boats pull up, that fishermen are going to be raining food down on them, like just throwing crab overboard. So when our
It's a
boat,
buffet.
yeah, exactly. So when our boat pulls up, of course, you know, they hear the engine, they're like, oh, food, and they just swarm the boat.
Ooh.
Wild.
That is insane.
Wild. Actually, I show you the
So-
type of shark. Go ahead.
So
I'm
did
listening.
you guys go one at a time or all
The four of us. These are the sharks.
Wow,
Galapagos sharks.
bro,
Yeah.
that's insane.
He called them like the Galapagos sharks, but I was reading about them just a little while ago, and apparently they're global. Oh yeah, I love Hawaii. There it is, dude.
Oh.
Spooky.
That's scary, man.
Spooky.
So did you like record it or anything like that, or is
No,
it
so I don't got an underwater camera, and I don't trust bringing our phones in there, even though they're technically waterproof. I don't trust it.
Mhm.
But so we get in the cage, and it's so rocky, like the waves are just throwing the cage around. So like there's sharks just like swimming at the cage, so it'd be like, you know, like just juking you out, and
Yeah.
like they'll be swimming at you, but the cage is getting thrown by the waves, and there's sharks. There's under you, they're next to you, they're behind you. Horrifying. I'm getting thrown around. I'm nauseous as hell because I'm already seasick. My God. It was, and then I got out and I threw up all over the boat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was me
Yeah.
and the family. It was me. I got out before like Jackie, Greg, and Heather. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I got out.
You just left your girlfriend in there.
Should be fine. There's a cage. So I get out. I'm throwing up on the front of the boat with the dad from the other family. He's like hanging over the edge. When I get there, I'm like, hey, it's gonna get pretty messy, bro. And he's like, I'm doing the same thing, and we're just over the edge of this boat.
Bruh.
Yeah, it's so bad.
So the cages are like have big gaps in it, right? Like you could stick like your body out of it if you wanted to.
Just not shark sized.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally just like, let's say, that big. So like, you have to kind of watch your arms and legs, especially because it's that choppy. You're getting thrown around and things.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Your arm slips out or oops, and you're gone.
Yeah.
So how does it, so I hear like see this kind of stuff online where like people like just jump in with all the sharks and the sharks they necessarily won't attack you, or they don't really like they don't want to eat humans and things like that. So
Yeah.
how's it going to work with your roommate that's just going to
So she's
just be swimming in there?
she and the boyfriend are certified scuba divers, and I don't know if that has anything to do about it or do with it. But I would just assume if they're going without the cage, they're going to be scubaing, because like when I just had my snorkel gear, so I just pop out of the water and hang onto the cage.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, to my understanding, they bring you out to the same area, and you just jump in. I mean, like
Right.
the sharks weren't biting at the cage, but if they're there, they are expecting food. So I changed my response. When they go, they must go somewhere else that's popular for sharks, but not a feeding zone. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you show
Yeah,
up to
where they
this
won't expect
spot
to eat.
where these sharks are like, yo, crab's about to be falling from the sky, and then you jump in, I
Yeah.
mean, that's tough. But
They could.
I got off the boat from North Shore. It's about a 45-minute to an hour drive where I was from back to Honolulu.
Mhm.
And I was so like seasick when I got off the boat. Driving home, Jackie stayed up there with Heather and Greg. I had to drive home alone, but I'm so seasick that I'm like falling asleep in my car because I can barely keep my eyes open. But I had to rush here to do this.
Yeah.
I almost killed like 6
I
people.
feel bad. Dude, we could have pushed it back later. I think
Dedication.
the time would have.
John keeps me on a
Fine with
tight
me.
schedule.
Good job, John. This kid keeps slipping, man.
You guys got to
Yeah.
come back.
Oh yeah. Yo, so it's kind of crazy to imagine that you could just be in a small boat, not expecting there to be any sharks or anything, but you just be on a boat out yourself, and the next thing you know that you're surrounded by sharks. That's
Can you
absolutely
see
wild.
them from the boat? Can you like when you're on the top of the boat, you can see them like circling?
Dude,
I would freak.
we get there, right? I don't know. Again, I don't research anything I say. I don't know anything about sharks.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck
We don't know what the hell we're talking about. But we get there, right? And like there's nothing. There's just the cage. But like obviously that's just the noise of the boat. So nothing's there yet. Nothing's attracting these sharks. And they're like hooking, we're sitting in our seats and they're like, just hang out for a second. They're hooking the cage up excuse me, they're hooking the cage up to the boat and doing whatever they got to do, and all of a sudden this little kid has to be 6 or 7. He
Wow.
goes, "Oh, mom, I see one," and I'm like, "Bull fucking shit!" Like there's choppy waves, the boat's getting thrown. I'm like, "No way!" But of course, we all look, and there's one. You see just like the tail of one dart, kind of
That's
like
wild.
under the boat. We're like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and we all kind of like stand and peek over the edges.
What if you guys fell over?
There was like 15, like they everywhere. It was wild, and like you know how in movies they got like the fin out the water.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, like Jaws, typical style. They weren't doing that at first, but then they were, and it was just really creepy. Oh my god, yeah, no,
That's an
it was pretty
experience.
wild. But,
Dude, you're living in a different world right now, man. It's absolutely something else.
it just sucks because they closed down all the beach parks yesterday.
Oh, really?
COVID's picking back up, so they locked down all
Yeah.
the beach parks, and
At least they're taking it seriously. It seems like Hawaii's taking it more seriously than a lot of other places.
all the
Yeah.
neighbor islands just picked up with the quarantine again, so you can't go there without the 2 week.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's about to be on complete lockdown again. Things are shutting down, which sucks.
Yeah.
How is Seattle? Can you go to eat there?
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's pretty open. I go to the parks and there's people in parks all the time. There's people in restaurants. They're
Yeah.
sitting down eating. I think maybe majority of it might be outside,
Okay.
but they have dine-in. Actually, people do eat inside. I mean, they have rules, obviously regulations, but like it feels like everything's pretty open.
Mm.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel pretty crazy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yesterday I actually went to the office and there were people there on
Oh,
a
yeah?
Saturday. Yeah,
Oh.
which was surprising. I think a lot of people just go there to hang out because somebody was playing like ping pong on the tables, even though it's technically closed. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to be there. I'm ratting them out right now,
Nah.
whoever you are. But yeah, I mean, Seattle's pretty open. It's
Yo,
it's
if
kinda
your coworkers watch my podcast, our podcast, we're doing way better than we think we're doing.
Yo, those 29 viewers. Let's go. Those
John,
Do you have any-
subscribers, man.
Do you have any things like have you heard of the Cuomo chips?
Cuomo trips?
Or chips?
Like Governor Cuomo?
So Governor Cuomo made like a law or passed something where
Uh-huh.
if you eat anything at a restaurant or if you like order alcohol at all, you
Yeah.
have to order a meal with it.
Okay.
And restaurants started putting $1 chips and like $1 appetizers and meals, so people could go there and drink and not have to
Yeah.
deal with that.
that's what they're doing here. So they're shutting down all bars, but if you serve food, if you're technically like a bar and grill, you
Mhm.
can stay open. So that's what a lot of breweries are doing, where like they're
Yeah.
just like starting to serve small side food, like little plates, maybe burgers, sliders, French fries, whatever, so they can
Yeah.
technically stay open and operate as a restaurant that also serves beer.
Yeah.
Right. That's smart. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of, dude, I'm seeing a lot of like weddings and parties and stuff like that going on right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's a little wild. I mean, people, we're getting used to it. It kind of happens, but still people are being a bit reckless where they're kind of just doing absolutely whatever. And if you have that many group of people, you're going to spread it. It's going to spread.
I feel like if they actually tried to fully shut the country down again, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
People are
be
getting
tough.
pretty fed up about it, which is, of course,
Like they tried to half shut it down, and people were getting fucking shot because they were getting turned down at CVS.
yeah.
All these
Dude, it's
places.
absolutely wild.
It's crazy.
How is New York? Things are shut down. Are cases going up, down? I haven't looked into it in a while.
So most of it's based around the city. I mean, upstate's not bad. Everything's open. There's no sign of it really, like closing down again.
People wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was kind of lax in the beginning, and then all these regulations started getting passed, and people, were not doing what they were supposed to.
Right.
Me working at a grocery store, people would come in all the time without masks, and eventually they cracked down on that. So like, technically you can't refuse them because it's private. It's a private company, so they don't want to turn away a customer.
Right.
They're gonna let them in the store.
Well, so technically you can't refuse them because it's the company's rule, not because it's the government's rule.
Well, yeah, I don't think they. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Governor Cuomo actually mandated people to wear masks. It was always a
Really?
suggestion. I'm
Is that
pretty
can
sure
he
it was always a suggestion.
does
And
he even
that
have power to do that?
I don't think he does, honestly. Like he might have the power to do it, but there's no way to enforce it. So like
Yeah.
when all this first started, like we had police at the store to like regulate people coming in
Right.
and but like there's just no way to regulate it. So then that's when the company steps in, and after a few months they were like, all right, well, if you don't wear a mask you can't come in the store. But it's like those
Right.
signs you see posted everywhere. But once it goes
Yeah.
into the the private domain, there's nothing. Like if you want to get into the store, just wear a fucking mask.
Right. Dude, police have been shutting down like parties and stuff like that for like social gatherings and people not following regulations, and you have a large group of people, they've been shutting down parties. I
You have a
see that
people
happening
limit?
a lot too. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure that they do. Each state has their own like phase of how many people you can have in there, but I find that a bit surprising that people like the police even have the power to shut down parties, things like that. But I mean,
Did it before. They
what's
were
up?
doing that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Uh,
That's right.
I think the
Taking
wildest
the
thing
whole
is like
noise thing.
I hate how like I'd love to know if I have it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I hate how you can have it and have no clue.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you know
we didn't talk
Dan
about this last
Dan C from high school.
hmm
He works for he does IT for some type of health company, medical something or other. So he has access to tests kind of like early on, about a couple months ago. And he hit me up one day. He was like, "Bro, I had it." And
No way.
I was like, "What do you mean you had it?" He's like, "Yeah, I felt kind of crappy last week. Didn't really even like think anything of it. Got tested this week, and yeah, I have the antibodies now." And I'm like, "Damn, it's
Dude,
nuts."
that's absolutely wild.
Who knows how
Yeah,
many people he gave it to,
yeah,
but
you know what's funny? I was actually like quite I was really out a lot yesterday. I went to the office and went to go check out I'm looking for an apartment, so I went to University District. I think I don't know if it's mental, but like right now like my throat is feeling a little like sore and stuff like that.
It's happened to
I'm
me a
sure it's
couple times
mental.
too.
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
reason we do
Really?
these
But it's
over the
weird,
internet.
man. Yeah, yeah. It's scary though. You don't know if you have it. You can go out being normal, get a little cough.
Yeah, and I mean, again, which I'm sure everyone feels the same way. Like, it's not even for me. We're in the age group where odds are we're gonna be all right. But like,
Yeah.
I feel like such an asshole if I gave it to those freaking kids on the boat. You know, or like their parents,
Swimming
and
with
like,
sharks and stuff like that.
I mean, we were distance. They severely cut back the number of people on the boat. Like, we all had to wear masks. We weren't near each other. I mean, unfortunately for the dad, I threw up like all over him. So if anyone got it, he got it. If I had it, so
The family is screwed.
but yeah,
You
I
never.
don't
I
know.
know I've said this to Nick before, but like before all this, what was it like December? I got like right before New Year's, I got really fucking sick for like
I
2
remember
weeks,
this.
and like for 2 weeks I was like dying, and then like 2 or 3 months later, this whole thing came out, and I was like,
Could you imagine?
did I
Because
John's the
get
one that
it
started
before
it.
then?
this was
Yeah,
brewing. This was brewing in China and the Asian countries.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hawaii is extremely close. We have a very high Asian population.
hmm
Yeah,
John was here at the very beginning of December.
I went.
Goes back to New York. John's
Did you go to New
patient
York City?
zero.
Did you
John's
go to the New
patient
York
zero for the
JFK?
U.S. Oh my God. Yeah, he flew into JFK, didn't he? Isn't that where
Oh
I flew him
man.
to?
No, I flew into
Yeah.
Boston. Boston.
Oh, I didn't fly you out here. You're right. Never mind. Damn.
No,
That's
last
wild, man.
time I wasn't at the city. I was at the Bronx Zoo last week.
No. I meant when you flew here.
Oh yeah, for
But
I
December.
forgot we didn't do that.
But I was
Damn.
at the Bronx Zoo last week. Fucking.
dude, the animals are spreading it, man.
Animals can
I
get it,
Dude,
know.
can't they?
when I think
I don't
like
know.
there have been cases with like dogs or pets, but I don't know. I think it's
They can be
rare. I don't think it's a
carriers.
thing. Yeah,
Ugh.
maybe something like that. But dude, when it was happening in China, like I personally did not give a crap. Like, it's a small virus. You expect it to
I'll cut that out of the
be
podcast.
controlled. No, but seriously, nobody in the U.S. really cared. Nobody like cared. It's not going to happen to us. We'll be fine. If it's like a small virus, I'm sure it'll be contained. Things like that. But
Well, if you think about it, like how many of those viruses do you think, like different kind of viruses, happen every single year that we just never hear about?
I mean, that's
yeah.
what the flu is every year, right?
Places.
I
But
mean,
it's the same.
isn't like a
It's the
new strain
same
of the
thing.
flu?
Oh yeah.
This is
sure.
what? No, this is part of a different virus,
No,
though.
I'm just saying flu season every year.
Oh yeah.
We get the flu, but it's never the same flu. It's always a different version of the flu, and
So
that's
you're
why
telling me
flu season sucks.
we're gonna have Rona season every year?
I would bet
Dude,
that we
that'd be
might.
wild.
That'd be some shit.
Yeah.
I would bet that we
Yeah.
might.
You
'Cause
probably
it's already
wouldn't
adapted.
even. You wouldn't even be able to call out for having the flu because it'd be like it's Rona season.
Just say it's Rona. I have Rona.
We're not worried about the flu.
You know, talking about cutting things out, there's a YouTube definitely has a lot of rules about talking about coronavirus. I don't know if you're even allowed to say it.
We're not
I'm
worried
not,
about getting
we're not.
monetized.
We're not monetized. It's okay.
That's true.
No
We
one's
don't get
paying us
that.
to make these videos.
Yo, the 29 people, man, we can't doubt them.
That's true.
Dude,
I
we
mean,
do
most
it for
of
the
them.
fans. We do it for the fans, not the money.
I think
Exactly.
50%
We
of
do
our
it for the people.
followers are related to me or John directly.
Oh, really?
And then
Yeah.
there's you, who I hope follows us.
Fucking
I
better.
definitely liked your video. I don't know if I
He liked our
subscribed. I'm sure
video.
I did.
I better see a notification.
Yeah, bro. I was
flashing.
there was like what, one other like. I think I was like the second like on it. Nah, I found it interesting. I thought it was a good conversation.
No, our last guy was cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he has his
Yeah, I
own
liked him a
podcast. He's
lot.
interesting.
Now you're dealing with a boring software engineer who
It's
doesn't
all right.
have
It's all right.
much to talk about.
Speaking, how's working there? How do you like being a software engineer?
Good segue.
Do
You know,
numbers.
coding is what was that?
You just do numbers.
I just do numbers.
So that was oversimplified.
No, it's not really numbers, but I mean, usually if you're good at math, you're good at coding.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That's
related.
not true. I'm real good at math, and I try to teach myself how to code.
Dude, you
both tried to
I mean,
do
you
it.
did good though. You picked up a lot of information really quickly. That was pretty good.
It's
But I mean,
hard.
like, you know, everybody enjoys coding. It's really cool. Building stuff is fun. Like everybody enjoys building stuff, whether it's with their hands or digitally or whatever. But
Yeah.
then, you know, if you're working for a corporation, it's not the most fun stuff, and you're just doing what your manager wants you to get done to make you know, stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely been a interesting experience, pretty different from school. But a lot of people go to startup companies. They really like, you know, enjoy that because they're just coding all day. That's what it is. They're just around good people, friends, stuff like that. But a lot of good opportunities. But yeah, no, it's a interesting field.
Do you like being in
I got
Seattle?
a question.
Like, it's
Yeah.
you like Seattle though, yeah? Like, it's interesting. It's a cool place.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of interesting people here.
Is there a lot of
definitely,
BLM stuff still going on?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. I think like every single night there's a protest.
Wow.
But so I'm in. Actually, I won't expose where I am, but yeah, I mean, I'll hear things at night in the distance, definitely, like nothing up close.
Yeah.
If I go to the park, I'll like see things going on there. Definitely not crazy like it was before, but yeah, there's still a lot of stuff going on. But I mean, Seattle's beautiful, man. It's wherever you go, it's like it's a city, and then you look around and it's mountains and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel that.
yeah, this dude lives in Hawaii. Bro, you look out your window and you just see like crazy mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wild,
Wild.
man.
So I got a question. So is there like, I know we've all talked about like business ideas. What kind of like for a software engineer, what's your like path to a startup as opposed to like a different kind of business? Like
Just
if you were to
exist.
Well,
start-
you
to
find a
start your own.
yeah. I mean, like if you want to go into the whole software like aspect of things, you just find a problem that exists right now, or you just get an idea like figuring out the next Airbnb or figuring out the next like just not, it doesn't even have to be that big, you know, just finding
Yeah.
like some sort of cool thing that, or an app that people would want to use, a website or something like that. And yeah, you know, that can get pretty big, or it doesn't even have to be like something super crazy. Like a lot of people do is they'll work for a company and they'll figure out like a problem that company has, like a problem between companies or things like that, and they'll just make like a product to solve an issue, you know, like with
Yeah,
their 10 years of
facilitate it.
experience to find a problem, they
Yeah,
program it with their friends and other people, and they got a problem solved right there. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of either you have a cool idea or you just see a problem in the industry that exists and then code it up, solve it,
Mm.
basically. But yeah,
I'm back.
I think they got bored of us. There he is.
I heard someone
Um,
walking around my apartment and no one should be here, so I wanted to check it out.
That's weird.
Yikes.
Someone climbed up the deck.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, basically it. So you guys are still thinking about opening up a bar in Ireland?
As soon as they're legal.
Yeah, they're heavily outlawed there.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's really fucked up.
bars are pretty tight right now. Tough industry to jump into.
They do.
Yeah.
I think it's very limited in what they have there. I mean, my mom just got back like 2 weeks ago, and she got there. She's been there for like 6 months before she got back. They wouldn't let anyone fly out. They had like a way stricter. So whatever regulations we had, they couldn't like go past like 2 kilometers of their house.
I remember
That's wild.
that.
Like it was
That's wild.
it was a real restriction where like you couldn't, like you could leave your house and go walk around, but like you couldn't go anywhere.
Which, if you know where John's family lives, there's not even a
literally
grocery
nowhere.
store within 2 kilometers.
So how do
There's
people
nothing.
get groceries or within
There's literally like
Grow 'em.
one house. I think they
That's
had
wild.
like a system in place so you could either like order them
Mhm.
and then there'd be some like, you know, touchless delivery, or there was like days you could go in and there, you know, special regulations on whatnot you could do, because there's still
Right.
it's still the same businesses where, you know, that are essential businesses that stayed open, but it was way stricter than what we had here.
Yeah. So is your mom still in Ireland or did she come back?
No, she just got back 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? So what happened? Was she there was she stuck there or did she want to stay there this whole
So I
time?
mean, it's like what Nick was dealing with. You know, there's just no way to get off because Ireland is an island. There's no way to get off the island. Like they're not going to let you off. You can't leave.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you're going past 2 kilometers. And she's going through an airport. The airports won't even open. Like there's only essential flights going out. So
Yeah.
you know, it's not like you can get on a plane and leave.
It just sucks. Everyone else in the world seems to be doing moderately better. I think I might have talked about this last time we talked about COVID on the show, but like I have friends in like Finland, France, who like we see them on social media like going to concerts and going to parks and going to parties like almost all the time, because when when this all started, those countries like they didn't even have like true lockdown orders. Like the people just knew, like we should just
Yeah.
not go out. And now the
Yeah.
virus is gone. And now if you want, you can go to a concert in Finland. But
When's the last time we looked it up? Finland had like 17 cases.
yeah, there's like none. It's wild. But I mean, there's only about 18 people in Finland, anyways.
So one person is healthy.
So it's with all the boxes. Is that reselling? Is that the stuff you're working on?
Yeah. So I ordered a bunch of stuff. It was hot before. It was selling like crazy. The second I got it, it's dead. Nobody wants it anymore.
I've told you, reselling is not the move.
Yeah. Dropshipping is good. You know, I made a lot of money off that, but it's my eBay account's still restricted. They're definitely playing a lot of games with that. Yeah, I think they're restricting it on purpose because
probably.
you know you have to what's up?
Said yeah,
Like,
probably.
yeah, I think like once you like sell on eBay, you kind of have to treat it like a business. You have to like treat it like actual customers and stuff like that. And I didn't really take it seriously. You know, I was just selling stuff. These are people that you know, they're just buying my stuff, whatever. It's not even my product. So I didn't really take it as seriously or had the customer service. So, you know, that definitely is affecting me now. But yeah, that's what all the boxes are.
You guys remember a couple weeks ago when I was thinking about starting that store with the portable air conditioners?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like all about it. I was talking to suppliers and things. I bought the domain, whatever. Then I started
Oh yeah,
talking
dude, you were going in with that.
Yeah.
then I started talking to a family friend who knows this stuff really, really well, contacting Chinese suppliers and whatnot. And he was like, might not be the best product, and we could probably work to find you a really good factory if you really want to dive into it. But I stepped back so I could do a bit more research. Then, because I share my mother's Amazon account, I get notifications from the things she buys, and then the other day I get a pop up on my phone, and it's like your portable air conditioner will be there in a couple of days or whatever. So I text my mom.
She
I'm like,
bought the same exact thing.
did you order this? She's like, my office is really hot. I need one, whatever. And I'm like, oh, word. Let me know how it works. I'm very curious to know like what kind of product you're gonna get, if it's any good or not. And just 2 days ago, I get a notification on my phone that says your refund for the portable AC is now being issued. So I call her and I'm like,
That's
hey,
perfect.
what's happened? Like, what happened? What's going on? She's like, well, I got the thing. The box was like all beat up. It had all this foreign language all over it. There was no instructions. The product looked nothing like what I ordered online. And I'm like, what suspicious ass drop shipper did you buy this thing from? And yeah, that's it. She got some really weird beat up product and she got rid of it. So I'm like, damn, okay.
Did she get a good shipping time, or was the shipping time a bit crazy? Like,
I
was
don't
it
know.
like 1-2 weeks?
I don't know if she. It's a good question. I have no clue. I
That's
have no clue.
definitely somebody that didn't do the whole branding aspect of
No.
things. They didn't brand it. They didn't put time into it. They just found the thing and
Connected the
made a
two and
quick buck.
booted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made a quick buck. But I mean, it's definitely a feasible business. Is like I said, I still really want to get into it. It's just prioritizing the whole product research stuff.
Absolutely.
Dude, fall's coming up. No?
Yeah,
You could
no,
find something cool for the fall.
there's got to be some options. I mean, the fall,
Well, there's
I
going
know
to be
like
different items.
there's gonna be different
Yeah.
items, but like I don't know why I see like fall and spring as like two like not even. I feel they're like fake seasons to me. I think of the
Mhm.
year as like summer and winter, and you can sprinkle in the other two in there for a couple weeks. But I mean, like for the first half of fall, it's hot as hell, so it's basically still summer. And then the second half of fall, it's cold as shit, so it's basically winter. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's
planning
quick.
for
It's out.
those.
Yeah.
You can put that on your calendar. You could have fall and spring as just one day.
Just the 21st of
One-
those two.
That's all they
Yeah.
are.
So what's in those boxes? Can I buy them from you? Is anything good?
I mean, yeah, they're like mini pools. I bought them for
Mini pool?
$50. Yeah,
Really?
mini pools. Yeah.
You know how many times
Those,
you both know my
bro.
balcony, right?
Yes.
My
Yeah,
balcony
yeah,
in
yeah,
my
yeah,
apartment.
yeah, yeah.
Do
Oh
you know
yeah.
how many times me and the girls have been like, "Yo, let's just
Perfect
get a
spot.
kiddie pool, fill it up,
Yeah.
drink in this pool on my lanai overlooking the mountains." Oh, dude.
It's perfect.
Se-
Dude, so
Send me a picture of it later.
when I first ordered them, they
Huh?
were, they cost around $20 to $50, depending on where you buy it.
Yeah.
Each.
And my friend was selling them for he sold them for 170.
Oh.
People are so
That's
dumb.
a crazy profit. Well, people want things as hot
People were
and they'll
buying
pay
them
for it. Yeah,
at
because
170.
yeah. See, the thing is, they're at they restock. The demand isn't there, so people
Yeah.
usually have bots that constantly check for restock, and then they'll buy it, and then they'll resell it. Like the middleman. But the second I buy it, I can sell them for like $100, but shipping and the fees for when you're selling it, I made like what, $5 on it. So
Well, I think wasn't the whole point that you didn't keep an inventory?
I
that's
said the
drop
same
shipping.
thing. I said the
Yeah, that's
same
drop shipping.
thing.
Yeah, so that was drop shipping, but this is reselling because
Oh, okay. So it's a little
there
different.
was definitely a reason for it because someone on Amazon was just selling it way cheaper. So usually, you restock on that, and then you can just ship it out. But there's different products that you'll resell or drop ship. There's like reasons to it.
There different like websites to go on? Because I know like there's Alibaba. I mean,
That's how you find
Yeah.
suppliers and things. That's not where you buy products.
but where did you try and
Yeah,
sell the pools?
bro. So you can sell them Amazon, eBay, Mercari. I think that's the app. But yeah, there's like a bunch of places to sell it. But believe it or not, it's so weird. You buy things from Walmart. People bought Walmart and Target because they just constantly run out of stock. But then yeah, you sell it on eBay and things like that.
But yeah, speaking about doing the business, we were talking about prioritizing the businesses there. I can't decide what to do either. I mean, there's the bar we want to do. There's the dropship. It's so hard because it's
That's
like
the hardest part.
which one do we want? I don't know. Which one do I want the most? You both know I'm working on that other side business idea.
Could we just buy a warehouse and do like all three of them?
You know what's so funny? Me and Talha were stressing about life a couple weeks back. Talha, you'll remember I said this. And I was like, we were stressed about work. We were stressed about businesses. Nothing was kind of moving. And I was like, let's quit our jobs, move back to New York, move into my mother's basement, turn the whole basement into just a workshop. And we just crank out business ideas.
Just live in there and just grind, dude. That's the perfect thing.
Oh shit!
That's a perfect environment, man.
Just work businesses.
Just work.
Yeah,
but that's also the thing is that video that I sent you last night about making choices. Dude, whatever choice we'll make, we'll never make the right choice.
John, we watched this video last night. Not the one we sent you.
Oh, okay.
Different. The one we sent you was 10 minutes or 6 minutes. This one was 20 minutes. It was this horribly sad video about this dude. And he's like, his friend's like, I'm going to Australia to start a company. You can come with me if you want to run the business. And the guy was like, I have a good job here and a girlfriend, but I've always wanted to do this. And the whole video is just like him making one decision and like everything kind of going meh and then shitty and then meh. And then he wakes up and realizes it was basically a dream. And then the same thing happened where he made the other decision and his life was meh and then shitty and then better and then meh. So both kind of ended out like crappy. But like then he woke up and I don't really get it because apparently it was a dream inside of a dream, but he had never made either decision. And the video literally ended and this man was just like, I guess there's no good decisions in life. There's just the decisions that we make.
Yep.
What do I do with that?
So what like factors do you like consider when you make a decision? Dude, it literally it ended with him being like, all right, I know which decision to make. And then that's it. So what decision did you make, man? Like it just ended right there. But yeah, absolutely. But I guess that's what they're trying to say is no decision is perfect and you just gotta choose one and just go with it.
What are you saying, John?
Micro decisions.
Micro decisions. Okay, if my next decision is to quit my job, leave Hawaii, and open a bar in Ireland, is that a micro decision?
No, there's like a billion micro decisions in that one decision.
That's very true. You have to there's a lot of things that you'll decide before you get to that point, before opening up a bar.
Like the first one, what are you gonna have for breakfast when you wake up?
See, I don't need to get that granular. I don't need to get that granular about it.
You're planning your life out?
That's
Or you're just gonna live it.
But like Talha has a good point. Do you focus on like okay, if we're on the course of just making micro decision after micro decision to getting to that gets us to a different decision in the end, like should I be focusing like how do I decide the first thing? Do I eat like Fruity Pebbles because that's what I want and it's the yummiest and I'll be the happiest? Mm-hmm. Or do I make like
oatmeal? Like
overnight oats because it's the best for me and it'll give me the most energy for the day. Like productive things. What should be the basis of your decision making? It shouldn't just be I need to make a decision. Like what do I focus on?
Yeah, I mean, especially when so in this case, we do kind of know the outcomes of it, which helps. But like, yeah, there's a lot of cases that will come across a choice and we don't know the outcome of it. We don't know what's better for us, what's worse for us. So that's what kind of leaves you hanging. It's tough. That's the worst part, man. That's why people struggle so much is because they want to do it. There's so many business ideas out there. And even businesses that are successful right now, you can jump into it and make your own successful business out of it. But it's knowing what to do. Knowing what to do is that's the tough part.
I think a lot of it just has to do with like risk tolerance, which is something they didn't really discuss in the video. Because like, I don't know, I'm come to the realization that I'm much less. I'm much less. I can't think of the word. Averse. I can't handle large amounts of risk, as I thought I would be able to at this point in my life. Like making huge decisions that are large leaps, like deciding I want to go open a bar in Ireland,
Yeah.
regardless of if it works out or not. Like, I don't know. It's just there's so many of those like micro decisions that it causes more turmoil in the short term than, I guess, positivity later on. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Looking back, I know what you mean. Looking back, like out of just graduated 6 months in December, this past December. I wish that I didn't start a job right away. Because once you start working, now I'm starting to realize the more I work, the more I get used to the pay, the harder it is to take that risk of wanting to do something that you've always wanted to do, or just enjoy being your own boss, just doing your own thing. It's harder and harder.
I realized that at a pretty young age. So my father used to give me $5 a week for an allowance, you could call it. I took out the trash or whatever, but I was never working, right?
It's child labor, man.
Child labor. So I was never working. So like when I had $5, I was like, great, I'd go do this, I'd buy that, it'd be whatever. Then the day I turned 16, as you both know, I started working very early in high school, and I never stopped. And as you both know, how frugal was I?
Dude, you worked.
Every decision was like, I got to the point where I don't even see dollar signs. Like things, I made so little money when I started working. I was making $7.65. So like I knew, like when I saw dollar amounts, I was like, okay, if I wanted this video game, $60, $65 after tax, that's gonna cost me, let's call it 10 hours of work, make it 12 because taxes. So like I started seeing things in like amounts of time that I'm gonna have to put into things. So it's just it's so much harder to spend your money when you're actively earning it. And then you come to rely on that source of income, and then to like make any decision afterwards that would impede that earning process it's so painful. It might not be for everybody.
It is.
But it's so painful to like think I could change I could like know certainly, like it'd be almost certain that I could make one decision and everything I ever want is just like right behind this door, but I have to quit my job first and take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard.
Dude, imagine if somebody, so I think we all started working pretty young. Like I started working at like Taco Bell when I was like 16. Spent my whole summer working. But imagine if somebody just grabbed us and said, we're spending an hour of our life to work for what, $7 or something like that, wasting a whole summer, wasting so many hours. Somebody just grabbed us and taught us to work for ourselves, do our own thing, just explore and learn and things like that, just because that's parents always they always focus on school, but they don't teach you how to make money outside of school or things like that.
But
if we started young like that,
that's a pretty
it's not.
I could be wrong. Again, I don't research anything. I feel like that's a pretty American thing. Get that job right away, boom, start grinding. Maybe you'll be a manager in 90 years right before you die. But like I know in European countries they do college a bit differently. There's like gap years that aren't just like hoped for, they're strongly encouraged. Almost everybody does it, whether it's I don't know if it's like before your senior year of college or before you go to like get your master's or something. Almost everybody takes a gap year where they go fuck off
It's their
to Australia.
J1 visa.
Yeah, they get a visa. They go like basically just party it out. Yeah, that's exactly what your mother did. That's exactly.
Come to think of it, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think so I was with the outdoors club in Buffalo. I went to school in Buffalo, and there were some kids from Europe basically there. They were studying abroad in Buffalo. Found that to be the most interesting thing, that they ended up in Buffalo for some reason, out of all places in the US. For some reason they enjoyed it, but I'm assuming but yeah, that's really that's interesting. They have more opportunities like that.
I think
We had a couple
Also,
of
I mean,
those.
I know from what I've learned from, school and shit, they just don't put the emphasis that we do in America on having a job in the first place. Like,
Definitely.
they
Yeah.
all have jobs, but they don't fucking work themselves to death. First of all, because they don't need to.
Right.
Their economy doesn't put that much stress on them that they need to work fucking 50, 60 hours a week to support themselves.
Yeah.
But, their jobs themselves are like, you're fucking people, go live.
Well, what's the
The
word? What's
American economy.
what's the statement? It's like Americans, like we live to work, but they work to live.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there's a lot of, like, you can't have as like, you can't be as successful as an entrepreneur maybe in Europe. The American economy is set up to be extremely successful, and
Yeah.
it's set up to be that way. So I mean, there's advantages to it, but at the end of the day, when you have such a large population of people who just want to live a good life, they want to be stress free, they just want to enjoy themselves, you got to work. It's
that's
too
a
much.
good point, because you just said it, which is kind of the myth that I'm attempting to disprove here. Is, everyone thinks if you come and grind your ass off for 50 years in America, everyone here is rich. It's super easy to make money here. This is where all the billionaires are, right? I watched a TED Talk about a month ago. It's a bit older. It's from like 2015, 2016, so I don't know how accurate the numbers are now. But if you calculate the billionaires per capita, we are actually behind all the Scandinavian countries.
Really?
This guy did this huge study, and Scandinavian countries are like the socialist, communist, like big scary words that Americans hate. Countries that it is easier to get mega rich in those countries. It's more probable than doing it in America. I don't know. I mean, that could be, there's a handful of factors, but so many people think that, if you want to get rich, you have to be an American, you have to grind. And it just, no one here, I think it's safe to say that on
So
a
the wealth was
happiness scale,
more spread out over there.
but it was
Well, they still have
more
a free market
billionaires,
over there.
more billionaires per capita than the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, we blow every other country out of the water with our, what is it, like 1,000 or something, like 800. Won't be a lot of billionaires.
But America's huge. America's
But we are the third
crazy.
most populated country in the world. And then you look at like
Really?
Norway, or was it? I think it was one of those countries. Norway, who has like, I don't know, less millions of people, much less, but they had a way higher percentage of ultra high net worth people, but they're all way happier.
Yeah.
Everyone over there is way happier. Happiness.
That's what it comes down to. Happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really up there on the scale of quality of life for the average person, or happiness for the average person. So yeah, I mean, the economy benefits those that are insanely smart and those that know how the system works, or have people that are within the system. But for an average person that just wants a good life, it's different. It's definitely different.
For as many people as there are like ultra high net worth people. So I think that is I think it's $30 million net worth and above. People who make it to those thresholds, you think they love what they do? Do you think Jeff Bezos is like, I love selling toilet paper over the internet. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I've never been happier.
Well, I feel like maybe when he started.
I mean, but the thing is that, like, money stops mattering after a while.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people say, what they love, what they do. I mean, dude, Jeff Bezos has a whole company that is absolutely obsessed with him.
True.
The dude's gotta be like, you gotta love that power. The guy has a lot of power. But once you reach a certain amount of money, it doesn't matter at all. You're gonna live the same quality of life. You might have more materialistic or bigger materialistic things, but you have everything you wanted way before that. So the guy's gotta love what he's doing.
So do we do things that we love, or do we do things that are smart?
You want to say in the long run, you do things that you love.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say, like, the profession that I chose for right now, like the only way for me to make real money is to work myself to fucking death.
Yeah, you're right.
And like that's like, you know, those are the choices that I made. I didn't go to college, you know. I do all right
Some
for
other
myself.
things sprinkled along the timeline.
Yeah, you know,
Life
I made
hits
some
you.
mistakes. But like the only way for me to make money in my profession is to either get a promotion or work myself to fucking death.
Well, then fuck your profession.
Like I know that last year I worked 3,000 hours
It's a
in a
lot.
year
Wow.
to make what I made last year. I worked 3,000 hours.
Wow.
And I think like 40 hours a week only brings you to like 2,000.
I was gonna say I just did it. So 8.2 hours a day for 365 days. So obviously that doesn't count days off, holidays,
That's a
etc.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a
But
lot of
like
work.
for me in my profession right now, that's how many hours I had to work to be, you know, I wasn't even happy at the time of what I was doing, but you know, I'm better at the place I am. Like I just changed jobs right now. So I'm better at the place. So I wouldn't have to work as many hours to make as much money as I made last year.
Yeah.
But like that's also the frame of mind that I'm in right now, which I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But
But
like
from our discussions recently, John, that's something that that's I guess we've all been talking about it. I talk about it with both of you separately. Like that's
yeah.
something that's what you do, right? That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's your direction. Where like me and Talha, we see working 8 hours a day for the next 50 years is I'd rather just jump off my balcony now. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
mean, it's not really enjoyable environment, I would say. It's
Mhm.
working that corporate job is not really something that's fulfilling to a person because we're just another piece in the puzzle. We're making somebody else's dream come true. We're just making a whole engine just go, basically. It's not really crazy
See,
meaningful or
I
anything
feel
like
like
that.
the only difference in my part is that like I work at a store level. So like working in an office would be very hard for me, other than
yeah.
the fact that like, you know, you're in an office. The part that makes my job a little bit easier is that I get customer interaction.
I
And
Yeah.
that's the
agree.
part. It's not like I'm trying to make the company happy, which of course I am, but it's the fact that I get to go in every single day and it's not like, you know, I get to make every single customer happy and
Hmm.
Yeah.
they get to go home, you know.
Yeah.
It's different than trying to make like, you know, the man happy.
I
Right.
I
Yeah.
do have to say, I will agree with that 100%. If I could make the amount of money now doing the job I had when I was 16, running around a wholesale club, just doing whatever they had me. I was doing total bitch work.
Yeah.
I was cleaning, I was wiping customers' asses, I was pulling empty boxes off shelves, but like I was talking to people, I was on my feet kind of doing silly
Yeah. Yeah.
tasks.
The social interactions.
I would
Yeah.
do that in a heartbeat. It just even in like obviously I've progressed and through my with my degree I've done jobs that are more what I'm technically wanting to do.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
And what kills me is what Tala just said is just I'm just sitting there making someone else's money. I remember
Yeah.
this really pissed me off. This is one of the things that really kind of like kicked me into, man, should I really be working for the rest of my life instead of trying to build something for myself? Is we had someone come to my college once, speak to one of the clubs I was running, and they were talking to us about like good not application, like interview tactics, things to ask. You know, you're supposed to go to an interview with like a book of questions and be like ready to kind of back and forth with the
Right.
people.
Yeah.
One of the things that he was like, okay, if you want to get an interviewer's attention, like if you want them to really remember you, ask them, like, one of your questions should be, what can I do to make you and your organization more money? That was something that I was told to ask an interviewer. And that's when it snapped. I was like, no matter what they offer me when I get this job, I'm not making anything compared to the person that's actually making the money off of my work. And that just that sits with me every day. I'm just like, I'm not earning my own money. I'm making somebody else money, and then things that happen to like fall out of their pockets. That's what I'm picking up.
Yeah, we're building somebody else's asset basically, and then once we're not working there anymore, we're not benefiting from it, even though the company is benefiting from making a lot of money from it, but we're building somebody else's asset. Yeah.
But like we all work hard. Yes, I would say, knowing both of you, we all work extremely hard. John probably more than both. Actually, Talha's been working some crazy hours, but John has to do physical labor a lot of the time. So John double. But why can't we just take that effort and make something out of it?
Exactly.
You know, it's I don't know. It sounds way simpler than it is. Obviously, we all know that.
Because we don't know the end outcome of it either.
Everyone wants to change with the system though, but like we're too far gone. There's no way to like revert the system.
Oh, you mean the whole system in general?
Well, like even if we wanted to, like, okay, we want to go like to like a European system where they have it. It's like us using the fucking metric system. There's no way to go over to that at this point. There's too many people that are accustomed to that.
But that's not totally the issue, because there are people who are not as ambitious as we may be. And I know I don't mean to be speaking for the three of us, but like there are some people who love sitting at a computer, like Talha said, who would be happy making a fine salary at a startup, just typing all day and just not. Talha, how many hours a day do you work working on your projects?
I would say at least like
give me an average. 10?
Sprinkle through the day.
I don't work that much. Just like sitting in front of a computer and just type, making sure things work for 10 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day for the next 40 years. I don't know. Some people don't mind. Some people like also aren't as like fiscally focused, not as monetarily focused as we are. Yeah, I mean, that's why the system will never change. First of all, it would take 90 years of congressing just to make that happen. And
we are pretty far along.
Yeah,
but there are options out there for us. Like we know what these other countries have better qualities of life, and kind of we're talking about Europe and stuff like that. It's hard for us to take that leap of faith. It's hard to, like, how scared were you to move to Hawaii? I know I was pretty nervous to move to across the country and with knowing nobody, starting a new job. But once you do it, it's not that bad, really.
It's definitely not that bad. It is exciting as hell, but it's absolutely terrifying. And I think me and you were in kind of similar boats. I had a person. I moved here with Jackie. And you had a job. So there's a home, a car, a job, and then people. We each had we each had one. You know what I'm saying? So luckily we both had somewhat of a support system to fall onto. But I quit my job, but that also, we were in different situations. So you had just graduated. I graduated a bit earlier than everybody else. So I'd already been working for almost 2 years. And I was having a real early life crisis, as John might remember, as me freaking out every day. Just going to that office and just like, I hated it. I had a couple jobs before I moved here, so I'm not just gonna like specify one that I didn't like. Just working every day, it was just boring. I wasn't in the direct field that I wanted to be in, what I went to school for. So just like, this sucks. And I've never taken any risks. That was what I was pissed about, is I hadn't taken many risks in my life. And I was like, it's Hawaii. And everybody I asked was like, when are you ever going to go to Hawaii? Or we get the chance to move to Hawaii, do it now. Why not? Once you get here, you're like, okay. It's just like living in New York, but not New York.
Well, like if you had gotten your dream job right off the bat out of college, do you think any of this would have happened?
I ask myself that twice a week. Because who knows? I don't really love my major. I picked it for stupid reasons, which we're not going to get into. But in theory, I could have been making a lot of money, or at least on a track to be earning a lot of money eventually.
Mm.
But I'm probably in the same boat, hating my life, hating work, hating everything about everything, being angry all the time. Because I never I never stopped to think about what I actually want with my life
Mhm.
until the day Jackie called me and was like, I'm moving to Hawaii. You can come if you want. And that's when I was like, no. I think you both know the story, right? I was
Yeah.
like,
No,
no.
I actually don't know.
Jackie called me up a 1 month, less than 4 weeks before she was moving. She goes, I just got the offer. They want me to start the first of next month, whatever. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's great. She's like, I want you to come if you want. You're invited. And I said, no, thank you. I was like, I have no interest in coming. That's too big of a risk, too big of a jump. What am I going to do? Hawaii's like one of the most expensive places in the country. Can't do it. I'm sitting at work 2 weeks later. It's like a Monday. And my boss comes by, drops like my weekly pile of nonsense on my desk. So, take care. And it wasn't an aggressive thing. It wasn't out of the ordinary. Like, it was just my weekly payload of bullshit. And I sat there and I stared at it. I remember I stared at that stack of papers for like 5-10 minutes. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I drafted my letter. I quit that day, or I put in my 2 weeks that day. 2 weeks and 5 days later, I was on a plane to Hawaii.
Mm.
That's wild. Now, do you think that, so I know that you're not like that happy with your job right now either, like you don't really love it or anything like that, but do you think like that decision to move to Hawaii, like first, are you happy you made that decision, or are you even happier living in Hawaii
I
versus New York?
am. It is undoubtedly the greatest decision I've ever made in my life. Regardless of
Mhm.
how much I hate it and my situation right now, it is the best decision I have ever made in my life for a number of reasons. And first of all, in case my boss ever finds out I'm making a podcast, I don't hate my job. It's not the field I expected to be in. It's a little bit tricky because I am still learning it. It's different. My team, my boss, everyone I work with are incredible. I've never had a complaint about them. Most fun team I've ever been on for anything ever. I love the people I work with. My job is a lot of fun. It's very different, but it's not what I see myself doing. And like we've been discussing, it's not getting me to that place in life I really want to be. But moving to Hawaii was the best decision I ever made because it taught me that big decisions don't matter. Um, I bother both of you every day to quit your jobs and do something. How many times just in the past 7 days, both of you both have to answer. How many times in the past 7 days have I tried to convince you to quit your jobs and do something ridiculous with me?
You've been pretty serious about it lately. I think like when I first started working, I was like, this is 4.5 years I've been working towards this degree, and I was supposed to have this epiphany of a life where everything is just perfect and like, you have money and things
Yep.
like that. And then you start working and you're like, holy crap, like this kind of sucks. So I was bothering you a lot initially. I was like, man, like, yo, we should start something. But you've been very serious about it lately.
That's because I'm 3 years deep.
You're planning, yeah, yeah,
I've been working every day since I was 16.
yeah.
I think I was the latest one to start, actually.
Start what? Working?
A job? I didn't get my first job until I was like after 18, after I graduated.
You had a mishmash of jobs, though. You haven't stopped either, though. Like, me and Talha went to college,
I mean,
like,
well, I had a job, like, while you guys were in college, I just worked.
you worked a medley of jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been working just as much as we have, but
the only job I had during like high school was that nursery job, which you helped me with.
That was so much fun. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Sounds like a story for another day.
Yeah, we worked on a farm. It was just a mess, but
That's pretty cool.
but yeah, best decision ever, just because it taught me that like, even though I'm having trouble with the exact same thing now, because I'm not good with huge risks. Like, it taught me that if I just drop everything and I want to go start a bar tomorrow in Ireland, I'm gonna be all right. And that's why I'm so adamant about it bothering you two, because
We'll be all right.
I know everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, I just like if this is really what I decide I don't want to be in Hawaii anymore.
Mhm.
God forbid anything happens because of COVID, and I have to make some drastic decisions. Like I know I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, that's why I guess everybody says do what you love, because
Yeah.
the money will come. Because right now, you know, I love to be out in nature and things like that, doing hikes. If I was to do something around there, I'm sure I'd find a problem or I'd find a way to create an income with money coming in.
Yeah.
But you know, we were watching that video yesterday.
Mm.
The dude that made the two choices. On one side of the thing, he was working a corporate job. He was making really good money. He was
Right.
happy with his girlfriend, but he wasn't happy with life. He was still miserable. And then on the other side, he was doing what he genuinely enjoyed. He was, I think he was like doing some sort of farming thing, and then he was providing like meaningful services to people, but he was making very little money.
Yeah.
But that whole financial burden still made him very unhappy.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, like,
So it can go both ways.
it is tough because it's easy to say do what you love, right? But
Yeah.
there needs to be some end goal, which is, of course, probably the hardest part for a lot of people, because I have to decide, okay, where do I want to see myself? Do I want to see myself with a lot of money down the road, regardless of how any other factors, or do I want to be happy? And do I want to be happy? Do I want to see myself like happy and living somewhere super cool? I don't know. You have to pick some sort of direction, but I think my biggest thing is I'm so afraid of losing the second one, which is, of course, that's the premise of decision making.
What's
like,
the second one?
Well, there's happiness and there's money. Like you can easily make one of them happen. I am a strong believer that anyone can make either one of those happen, but it's very hard to make both. What do you mean?
That's the hard one. Yeah.
I mean, I guess in my case, so I guess my big decision now is, do I like work a lot towards my future, or do I be happy and work now or work later?
Well,
What do you mean?
if you're happy and I think what they mean.
Well, I guess in that situation, it's like, are you happy with what you do as a job, and then maybe you might have to struggle a little bit later because you didn't make that money before, or do you get a good job that pays you a shitload of money and you're not as happy,
and then you can enjoy later.
But then you can enjoy your life later.
I think that those are both like good options, because the thing is, if you're strictly chasing money, if you're strictly chasing, you sacrifice your friendship, you sacrifice your families and stuff like that. If you're strictly chasing money, you're going to get that money, but then you're going to be miserable. You're not going to be happy. So I think, you can be really happy if you work that corporate job, make a lot of money, and then just make sure that you're not only chasing the money. Because there's a whole FIRE movement right now, the millennial FIRE movement. They're trying
Financial
to
independence, retire early.
Yeah. But I mean, that's whole the retiring early thing. But then why not do what you love and create income from that? And then those people don't ever want to quit. They don't ever want to retire. They just want to keep doing what they're doing.
So the FIRE method, financial independence, retire early. It's basically like a super dumbed down way of living frugally with very low expenses and trying to increase your income, your cash flow as much as possible so that you're able to pay off all debts and retire as early as possible. Is there more to explain behind that, Talha? Like,
yeah, I mean, no, that's basically it. But then, taking the whole financial aspect of things in your own hands, because a lot of people just rely on their job and, I'll retire at 65 with a 401k in my job. I'll have that money for the rest of my life, and that's it. Besides that, with my paycheck, it's money to spend. But now there's like a lot of movement of people trying to become taking all that stuff into their own hands, trying to just be smart with their money.
You guys know that spreadsheet I made that keeps track of how much money you have over time? It's like pretty in depth.
Yeah.
I have my own version that I've basically built that like revolves around the FIRE principle, that it takes into consideration all my income, all of my different investments. It has debts that like are broken down on a payment schedule to kind of see where I'm at year by year. It's very similar to the type of thing that FIRE people use.
Well, do you think this is like random? I've never
Yeah.
talked about this. So like, you not think that's like the FIRE movement is kind of linked with like the drop of people not getting like when we are 65, like when people, you know, in the last generation, they're getting, you know, Social Security and they're getting pensions that are no longer going to be available to us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the millennial generation, I guess, like those things are no longer going to be viable for us. So
Yeah.
It's
I guess in
definitely
a
a
way,
factor.
you know, it's trying to find a way to make that money because we're not going to be able to live off those things that, you know,
Yeah.
past generations have been able to.
I think it's that's definitely a factor, but it stems from the community of people who just don't want to work all that time, who don't want to like waste their life behind a computer 10 hours a day, never see their family, and then they retire with a couple bucks in their pocket and then they die.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
You
Yeah.
know, people
Yeah.
like, you never shopped on like Etsy or something?
No.
Never gotten anything off Etsy.
Jackie got me stuff off Etsy.
Is that the handmade
Jackie
Yeah.
got me the superhero thing off Etsy where I'm like, I look like a superhero.
It's a
in my room.
website.
I
So
haven't
like
seen it.
anything
Cool, I'll
that I
show
get
you.
for like birthday presents or anything for anyone, I get off Etsy. It's like
Really?
it's like a homemade store. So it's like a local store for your community
Yeah.
that you're getting off the internet. So it's like a local community internet kind of thing.
It's a
And
pretty good idea.
it's like supporting local businesses, but you're just supporting people who are just making stuff like in their own houses. It's
Mhm.
just it's a really cool thing just to be able to like, you know, do, because you're not supporting, you know, a big corporation,
Yeah.
which is part of
Yeah,
it.
a lot.
You're also,
It's blowing up with this whole like Corona thing.
yeah, that too. But
This
you know,
is
Yeah.
this
getting
is
a good
something
made
Jackie got
product.
me off Etsy.
Is that you and Jackie?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had to cover up the title because it's a little.
But it's
Anyway.
stuff like that, you know,
Mhm.
that you're supporting someone who is, you know, potentially part of that movement.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't want to work for a boss, you know, they make all their own stuff. They're their own boss. You know,
That's
they
a
have their own little store.
that's a
Yeah, I
really
mean
good point. That's side
that's the
hustle.
whole thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's the whole thing too. Like obviously people with the whole FIRE movement, they don't want to be working their corporate job or else they wouldn't care about retiring. So
Yeah.
why wait to retire? So I guess what I'm trying to say is like why wait to live frugally and stuff like that when you can just do it now. You could just do a side, like make some money on the side, making things with your hands, doing all that kind of stuff, selling things online. Why not just start doing that now? You're still living frugally. You can do that for the rest of your life, and you'd enjoy it
Because
basically.
Hawaii's
You know?
expensive, and I don't
Well,
like living frugally.
I think I honestly think like
Some people don't. Yeah.
their side hustle thing can go past retirement. So like people
Yeah.
retired at 62 because if they continued doing their job, they probably would die within 2 fucking years.
Die on the
It's
factory floor.
It's exhausting. So like their side hustle thing is you can do that, you know,
Well,
as long as you're
that's
not fucking,
that's the beauty of the side hustle. And me and Talha, we debate this frequently because the beauty of the side hustle is you have your job, you're 40 hours a week, and you do this side project that you love that makes you money. Something that
Yeah.
you're passionate about. You're not like this. This is basically that, right? Me and you were doing
Yeah.
this just because it's fun and we like talking to people.
Yeah.
So you do it on the side and maybe it starts earning you a bit of money.
Mhm.
And then you keep working it, and eventually it's a little bit bigger. You're selling more things. All of a sudden it's a little bit bigger. Maybe it's growing, it's expanding, and one day, because you're making so much money off your side hustle, this thing you love, you can quit your job when you're 36, call it 40, I don't know. And then you're just doing this thing you love, and then you have this small business, big business if it really works out. And then you can either continue the thing that you love, you could sell the business, retire early, do whatever you want. It's just a much nicer, happier way of doing things. But then
Less risk as well.
there's not as much risk because you have your income. But me and Talha debate this back and forth because there's so many different types. You can make a side hustle for anything really, and this is one of the things I have trouble with, is like picking which one I really want to dive into head first. On the other side of the coin though, where we debate is why not just start a full-on business, you know, which could grow more profitably and a whole bunch of other things. I guess like it's all risk. It all is just
I
kind
think
of
the point of the side hustle thing is that you have a main hustle, and the fact that like this side hustle is like apart from your actual job.
Yeah.
That you would be doing, and you're just doing it on the side. But you know, I guess that transition into a full hustle.
I have to pick something I love. What do I love?
Well, I guess
That's a tough question.
I think when you have like a diverse range of side hustles, it's hard to pick one and be successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're not pouring all your energy into one thing and into multiple things, you're going to have a couple semi-successful things, and maybe one will get it big, but like, you know,
This seems like a direct attack at me.
at anyone really. I'm just saying.
You're right. But I mean, when it comes down to it, earning money or not earning money, I think it's a huge happiness factor because it can start as a hobby, which is what this is.
Yeah.
This is a hobby. I mean, we hang out and we Zoom all the time because we're so far apart. But all I have to do is hit the record button. It turns. I mean, hey, if you can make something out of your side hustle, that's incredible. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
F.I.R.E.
it's
is a cool
definitely
premise.
interesting. Yeah, it's hard to know what to do. That's the hardest part, really knowing what to start. Because on one aspect, you could be safe, you could retire early, have money where you won't have to stress, and then on the other side, you could go full send and start doing what you love, and who cares if just make enough money to get by. Like you said, that one person that just travels, and then that person does their little side. I think Nick, you were talking about her.
Yeah.
Works at like does enough to get by, makes money, does some side gigs and stuff like that, but enjoying life, doing what they
my
love.
friend, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And some people are okay living like that, which I wish I was more like that. I wish I didn't just focus on waiting on my paycheck and just I have to work all the time, because there's so many things we all obviously like to do.
It's that stuff that we're really programmed that way. That's the thing. It's because of society that we started thinking like that. You see social media, a lot of people have the nice cars and stuff like that, but you don't see what they're going through or what they had to do to get there.
Well, I feel like a part of it too is like, we all went to high school, we all graduated at the same time. And I feel like as what we've all experienced in the real world, how fucking sheltered we were in high school up to what, the real world was.
Yeah.
And
it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
No one tells you.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No one tells you anything. It wasn't until I got my, God, when was it? It was sometime when I was still at the bank that I realized that you are truly alone in everything. Like, no one has prepared you for shit your entire life. I mean, they just say you're gonna pass this test, then you're gonna pass a couple more tests, then you're gonna pass a couple more tests, then you're gonna be given a piece of paper, and you're gonna get a job,
and then your life is gonna be perfect,
and then you're gonna die, and then you're gonna die. But like, it's just the numbers just don't make sense.
Isn't it crazy that? Sorry, my bad.
No.
It's insane that since we were very, very young, we woke up with an alarm clock, went to school at 8 o'clock,
7 or 8,
came home.
Nah, 6.
I don't even
whatever grade it was. It was different times.
Yeah.
But we basically worked that 9 to 5 since we started school.
Yeah.
the same format of everything.
They
So you
brainwash it
did
into
the
you
whole,
early.
yeah, exactly. And necessarily we didn't have that freedom. We didn't necessarily enjoy it, but we thought that, oh, this is something we have to do.
Right.
And then you start working. It's the same thing. They really train you early, and school started for factory workers. That's what the whole training started for.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, now it's advanced to other jobs, but it's still the same exact thing.
The one thing
You have
that
to work.
I guess so that system doesn't not work for what it is. You go to school, you get a piece of paper, and then
Society's booming.
if and when you get a job, which is what I'm getting at, then you'll be fine. Like if you could be happy working and you love your job, that's incredible. Like you are fortunate that you found something that you love to do. But like I don't even know. I have no clue if I would like finance. I studied finance and econ. I do not know if I would like it or not because I could not get a job. I did everything right. I was really high up in high school, near top of the class-ish, very high percentile, very high GPA in college, ran a bunch of clubs, had the internships, did this, did that, and I still can't get a job in the field that I wanted. So like, and that's another factor that goes into it. When I'm pestering you to quit your jobs and travel the country with me, I ask myself, do I want to do that, or should I move back to New York and try to become an investment banker, whatever it may be?
But even with I'm gonna let you always continue. But even with the whole, you did get that position that you wanted. For me, I have exactly that position. I'm working with exactly the type of tech. It's a corporate job, so we don't know if that is the answer. You would be happy that way. Maybe you would be. We're all different people, but
that's the thing though. Like individuals, we don't know. Like I have no clue what I want to do with myself. That's, I guess, the other reason I have trouble picking what steps I should be taking, because I it's like I know nothing about myself. Yeah, it's hard.
It's tough. Yeah. It's really hard to know what to do because you're taught one thing. This is the right answer. You're programmed, like you said. We're all programmed to do one thing, but then we're basically just another piece in the puzzle for the whole country, the whole system, for everything, but not necessarily what we want to or what we would love to do. But
I'm surprised you hadn't heard of the F.I.R.E method, John. I guess John doesn't listen to the same YouTubers that we watch.
Well, that too. I mean, I guess my perspective's a little different. So like, you have a problem with being the cog. I mean, I get paid to be the cog. But I don't know, maybe college is that. So like me working, I've been working for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm finally at a management level. And, being at a management level is still just, I'm doing the same fucking shit. And I think my job is transition more into I'm there because I love the customers and dealing with them and for a paycheck. So
but that's good.
I think earlier in my career, I would have had way more of a problem, and I did, with what I was being told to do. Maybe I wanted to do it a different way. And in some avenues I can, but at some point, I'm not going to lose my fucking job over me trying to do something that I want to try.
Why not?
Do you like your job?
So I like aspects of my job. Do I like my job all the way around right now?
Well,
no.
Nobody does. That's a fair point. Nobody does.
Yeah. I mean, nobody loves their job all the way around. There's aspects of it that they don't like. Like I said before, customers are a big part of my job. That's why I come back every fucking day. I love dealing with them. I think numbers are a lot to do with it. Being in a manager position for me is a lot of dealing with. I don't just get to deal with, I'm not just an associate, so I just don't have to deal with customers all day. I get to deal with trying to make my department more money, trying to, complete an inventory correctly and trying to make money. And, you learn a lot being in that kind of position because you get to take a corporate directive and trying to figure out like what they want you to do. And I know me and like the people that I've worked with, the people that have trained me, I have a very different mindset than they do. I think about things differently. So I'm not taking, a company directive, I'm not taking it blindly. I'm thinking about what they would do because that's not my goal. So like I've been in at least 5 interviews for managers positions before, and they're one fucking question that always gets me that I'm like, am I
Is it
really
the same
answering?
company?
Most of it has been the same company.
Mm-hmm.
But they're one question where I'm like, I don't know if I'm answering this honestly because I don't even know. Is like, where do you want to be in 5 years?
The world's hardest
Yeah.
question.
Like my answer, like I want to be where you are, and it's like asking me this fucking question. But like, do I want to be higher? Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
it's hard to get there, and unless you make all the right decisions. And from what I've seen, it's really about who you know and blind luck on a situation and like the day that you go in for that interview. Like blind luck on maybe who was interviewed before you. Like if someone goes in with a killer interview before you, those people interviewing you have already chosen that other person.
Right.
Anything that you say that may be above the rest of them, they're not going to take as seriously. Just because they've already heard the person that they want. And maybe they'll take that into account, but you're never going to be a serious choice. And working in the corporate environment, you're always expendable. And I don't know if that ever really hits for anyone, but like you're always fucking expendable. Like
Absolutely.
anyone, you can be replaced by a fucking squirrel or hamster. All right.
On a side, isn't it wild? Just with the 3 of us knowing each other so well, isn't it wild that John made it to management before we did?
Yeah.
John's officially the most qualified person on the phone call.
Very true. But that's the thing. You can reach high levels of success with just working. Just continue to work, and education isn't necessarily going to get you there. That's not the right answer. At the end of the day, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to put in those hours at a certain company to get there. That's
but even
basically
there,
it.
like for me to get the position that I have now, I had to switch companies. And that's where luck comes into it too. Like the position that I put myself into, which I thought was a good position, was not. And like, true. I think one of the interesting things is like when you look at company reviews, most of them are negative because it's people leaving the company. So like the company that I left prior to where I am now, I would have bad reviews about that company because of the way I left. You never usually leave a company on good terms. Like really, really good terms. You put in your 2 weeks, you'll do all your stuff just so maybe in case that you might get a job later. You'll put in your 2 weeks, leave on good terms. But you never usually leave on very good terms.
Oh yeah.
Where you're like, I really just got a better position. I'm gonna get this job. But like there's never usually that. So like you look at these company reviews and like most of them are negative. And like anyone can say that about any job that they've ever left. Like the job that I left, have they treated me well? Most of the time, absolutely. And what it really comes down to is the people that you work with.
So would you be happily doing what you're doing for the next 40 years?
So I mean, my steps up now are if I would be happy, yes.
If you followed those steps.
It would also be dependent on the people that I work for. Because at a certain point, unless you're I guess more so I'm in it for the paycheck, not necessarily for who I work for like you guys are. But like, unless I'm a CEO of a fucking company, I'm not going to be content. But as long as like at a certain point in my life, if I make a certain amount of money, I guess I'll be comfortable. And then
So it
as long
comes
as
down to personal aspirations.
yeah, that, and like if at a certain point, if I'm very happy with the person I'm working for at a high enough, salary, a couple dollars extra an hour, am I gonna risk being sane for a couple more $1,000 a year to go to another company where I might potentially lose my fucking mind?
I guess. Yeah. So that's a good point, though. It revolves around the person and what they strive to be. Because like comfortability, like I'm comfortable now. Like I'd be fine if I wanted to be comfortable. I could do this forever and fuck off in Hawaii until the end of time. But it's just it's an aspirations game. I mean, yeah, people just think differently. Yeah.
John, you have a pretty sick tattoos, by the way.
Thank you.
Talking about John getting into management.
They don't
Yeah.
discriminate now.
True.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
What do you have now?
tattoo wise?
Yeah.
I've gotten both of my arms.
Is that a Pokemon? Oh, you got Pokemons on it?
It's got
Nice.
Oh yeah, I've gotten all those.
Yes.
I got one on my back, one on my calf.
What goes into your decisions of like?
There is none.
Oh,
There's no thought.
On my tattoos,
There's no thought whatsoever.
so there's not a lot of thought on the placement.
okay.
But the thought on tattoos, so like Pokemon, I guess it's like a tie to my childhood kind of thing. Other tattoos, like me and Nick were in Ireland last time, I got 3 tattoos. A lot of my tattoos are sadly weeaboo like. They're anime linked. So like the ones on my fingers are Kira, which is from Death Note, and then I have Saitama on my thigh from One Man Punch, or One Punch Man, whichever one it is. They're the same.
You're gonna get a lot of hate for that.
But like most of my tattoos are, anime based things I love. Like this is the only one that has significant meaning to me. Is that one?
What is that?
We're not gonna get into that now. That was just like bad. These are bad choices I've made that I've survived. So that's that one.
Have you any tattoos that you regret, or is everyone one of them you're still happy with?
I only have one I regret, and I wanted to join the Freemasons. I still want to, but I didn't know like how strict they were with everything.
What's Freemasons?
So the Freemasons are like, they're like in the mainstream, they're like a secret society. But at the like you always see like Obama, Bush, they're all part of it. It's like it's like, I think part of the Illuminati is what they think. But at like my level, it's just like they just do stuff for the community, and it's like it's really not being very different than like joining a church or something. But like this is the symbol that they use right there.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to have this.
So is that a actual the Freemasons, is that an actual thing? Because we don't know if the Illuminati is real, but
so the Illuminati
conversation
is hearsay at this point.
Yeah.
The Freemasons absolutely do exist. They have, Nick knows, they have a temple near his house. They have temples everywhere, in every city. And they're a very good organization. They do stuff for the community. They do community stuff. A lot of that.
Do they pay well?
Do they pay well?
But
I think at the very core of it, it's in a very rudimentary sense. they're like the Boy Scouts in a way, like for adults. They've just like they're a very close knit kind of group that, you know, they got each other's back. If anyone needs help, they've got each other, you know.
Sounds like a cult.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a cult.
It all sounds like a cult, really. If you want to talk about religion, we can.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah.
yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe that is the ultimate answer to happiness.
Joining a cult?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, some sort of organization that, you know, you're always surrounded by a community, not necessarily has to be a cult, or doesn't have to be a cult, but a community.
Surrounded by people who love you and share your interests. Sounds so simple.
No, those are two different things. You're a cult leader at that point.
Well, yeah.
You're above it all.
Maybe we should just start a cult then.
Our
29 subscribers.
We'll take this one. We'll take this one off the call. Actually, we'll talk about this later.
Think of all my other ones. I mean, I think people have given me the most shit about my Pokemon tattoos.
Undoubtedly.
Really?
Like, hey, what are you gonna be like when you're 70 years old? And you have
man.
when you have these Pokemon tattoos, and I'm like, I'm gonna teach these whippersnappers how to fucking play Pokemon.
In the immortal words of
Pokemon cards.
In the immortal words of Daniel Tosh, I think it was Daniel Tosh, who was like, people with tattoos like that don't really live that long. You never get advice from the wise man with the snake coiled around his neck. So I don't know if John's gonna make it to an old man status with the Pokemon tattoos up his arm.
I gotta work that. Hopefully next time we talk, I'll be fucking covered.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever do that? Actually have tattoos on your face or any like thing on your neck?
I don't think I would ever go to my face, but I have seriously thought about tattoos on my neck.
So everybody says that you don't just get one tattoo, you know? If you get a tattoo, you're gonna have multiple tattoos.
I mean,
what is it about tattoos?
Both of you do not have tattoos, am I correct?
Correct.
So for me, I mean, it's self-expression in a way. It's like you buy something that you really love and you're like, hey, I'm going to display this in my house. So everyone that comes and visits me in my house can see. That's like me with my body. Is that I can bring that anywhere I want. And I get to look at it and, you know, is it perfect every time? Like, are some of my tattoos fucked up? Yeah, they are. But that's part of, you know, what they are. So it's really, I mean, in the very hipster sense, it's very self-expression. You know, that's what it is.
Do you hate your mother?
I don't.
Have
you been good to your mother?
I don't. Like, you can't be a spy now. You know how identifiable
no, like in my sense. Well, identify if I was good at my job, I could be a fucking spy.
I don't know.
Because people
wouldn't they want somebody with tattoos? Because then you wouldn't think that they're a spy.
No.
You know that they also have like. Have you seen how many like ads on Facebook that I specifically get for like temporary tattoos?
I don't get that.
They're like tattoos that last for like 2 weeks. You can just buy
What is
them.
this child play?
You literally, it's like getting like one of those tattoos that you would as a kid where you just rub water on it. It's the same fucking thing.
But they last
2 weeks.
I never liked those.
So do you not think that like the amount of tattoos that you have right now are enough? Like, what makes you just want more, basically?
He has more feelings to express.
Well, I have more skin.
Is that all it is? You have more real estate to show express yourself.
But also,
I mean, some
go
people
ahead.
Some people like the pain of it, so some of the tattoos are very painful to get. Some people come back for the pain. Is that part of it? You know, I guess it's kind of part of it. Is that over other people? Not that like most people could get a tattoo, but some of the tattoos really fucking hurt to get. And it's like some of it is I could withstand the pain that other people couldn't to get this tattoo. So I think that's a little bit a part of it, you know, other than like some people are literally addicted to getting tattoos. I think some, like you see like, you know, Guinness World Records, most piercings and most tattoos. And, you know, people are literally covered in tattoos. Would I ever get a tattoo on my face?
Yeah,
Probably not.
that's a pretty good business idea, is making legitimate tattoos that will wear off after a while. I think those are already things
I
that
think
they
those
have to
are a
constantly
thing.
keep coming back to you.
Well, you get like 2 weeks. What I need is like a longer term one, like one that'll last for. I don't even know how the fuck you would do that. One that lasts for like a year or something like that.
Yeah. I
Cool
think
idea.
there are like temporary tattoos that you can go get. It's the same process and they last a couple months. I believe that is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good business model, because then
Really
they
good business model.
constantly have to keep coming back to you, and it's not, nobody has to think too hard about getting it. Yeah,
That too, and like the tattoo artists that I go to for most of my stuff. So like, the Nick knows, like when I go to places, usually like away from where I live, I like to get tattoos, just to like remember that place.
I pay for most of them.
You do not. But like it's, you know, it's a way of like supporting businesses in that way, and like
yeah,
our local artists, and like people don't think about it when they think of tattoos. Like people pay thousands of dollars for their tattoos. I have thousands of dollars of work on my body right now, but like that's supporting people who are, in your sense, making their own. They're doing what they love and charging people money for it. Like that's not like tattoo artists in a real sense. It's a very like niche thing. Not everyone has tattoos, and if they do, it's only like, you know, a little one. But
yeah,
it's people doing what they love and charging money for it, and they're making a living off it. So it's
yeah,
cool
they're doing what they love.
I
Yeah.
considered getting one because just for living in Hawaii, for when I leave, I thought about getting one, but I never really loved the ideas of having the tattoo and having it. I don't know. I never liked the idea. So I found some statues that I'm gonna get. There's some local artists. Just because you said supporting local artists, there's some artist who lives North Shore kind of area who makes these really cool statues of like Polynesian dancers. I think I'm gonna buy one. It's not that expensive. It's a couple $100. It's like this big. It's
What
pretty
is it
cool.
a statue of?
I guess like a hula dancer type of thing. Let me see if I can find you the photo of this person's work. But
Do you know when you're gonna leave it? Like, what is your plan for?
ask
Like,
COVID if I'm gonna have a job in a couple months.
yeah,
It's kind of hard to
I
see.
mean,
Oh wow, what is it
that's
made
pretty
out
cool.
of?
Copper or bronze. Bronze.
Oh,
Yeah, the artist is
do
really
they
cool.
do they do requests?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, do they just make their own stuff and then sell it, or they take requests and then?
No, this is an artist. He makes his own stuff and then that gets sold.
Speaking of sculptures,
Oh,
you got a little
Is that
bobblehead,
a Thor?
Thor. Yeah.
you got a pop boy?
Yeah.
Probably.
They make pop bobbleheads?
I'll be right back.
It's a what is it? Yeah. Funko
What's it?
Pop.
Funko Pop?
Yeah.
They all do that?
I don't know. I don't think so,
Mm,
but some of them do.
that's pretty cool.
It's actually one of those things that I was supposed to resell. It's a collectible thing.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you need to get into? Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Are they still making new Pokemons? Like new cards and stuff like that?
Yeah, like every month.
Really?
No, I'm
And
serious.
does that
Every single, like, when new games comes out, like when Sun and Moon came out, which is the newest game. Okay. No, there's one after that. Like when the newest Pokemon game came out, there's still sets for that game coming out. So like months up to years after the one game comes out, they're releasing new sets. And if you go like straight from like Korea, Japan, China, they're like that's where it all originates. So like their sets come out weeks to months in advance of what an American set would come out to.
So is it more expensive here then, or is it like still like same
So
price?
like So a booster box, which is I think usually 36 packs, an American set. I think last time I tried to I questioned about one. It's like $100 ish,
Mhm.
130 maybe for a whole booster box of American, and it's like
What are we talking about?
the last time
Pokemon
I
cards.
bought one,
Mm.
I bought like a 2015. It was like 3 years later. It was like $20.
So
But,
do you do they increase in value over time? Like
To some
some
so
do
people.
get flipped?
the packs themselves would have to be kept for years. If they were sealed, the cards are going to change with the meta of the game. So if you pulled like I have cards in my collection right now that are worth, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70. But if I had a sealed booster pack, like the base set first edition that they have go for hundreds of dollars just because it's the first set that was ever made and it's the first edition, which is
Mhm.
like extra special. But like stuff like that, like, you know, stuff like that just sells for more because it's
Yeah.
rare. And then like sealed on its in itself sells for more anyways. So sealed just means that no one tampered with it because there's a way to weigh the packs. You can weigh every pack, and if it weighs more, that means there's a better card in there.
Okay.
I always tell John all the time. I'm like, if you put half as much like brain power into the stock market as you do into like Pokemon cards and just like the world of Pokemon, you would be so wealthy. But I just think it's so funny because it's a huge, like, people have different drivers. Because like me and you, Tala, we talk about finance, loans, budgets, investing, real estate all the time. That's all we talk about. And then me and John do not. It's just so funny because like those are the things that keep us going. And
Mhm.
then me and John, we have our things, and it's so different. It's insane. Where
But that's
people like, yeah,
the whole Pokemon thing. That's a really good hustle, though. A lot of people make really good money from trading that kind of stuff.
that's a community right there.
I think
Yeah.
people look over niche markets, and I understand that like there's less money overall to be made in there. But like if you have any, hold of the market in a niche market, you're
Hmm.
still making money.
Oh yeah.
And if it's
And
something
it's
you like,
yeah.
Yeah.
then you're happy.
You put more effort into it, more interest and stuff like that. But I mean, with the whole financing, it's really enjoyable overall. The more you learn about it, it's really cool.
It's exciting because I find it exciting because it not only is it like it's suspenseful and it's like a game. It's like gambling. It's playing the lottery basically. But you can in fact make
Bitcoin,
something
man.
of it. Yeah, Bitcoin, exactly. You can make something of it. Have you guys seen the people on TikTok playing that game with the cryptocurrency gambling where you put in a bunch of money and it just like tick tick ticks 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 and they sell it
No.
before it drops? It's illegal in the U.S. I forget. I think it's called Crash or something. It's illegal in the U.S. from what I was told or from what my research found. I just wasn't able to find it, and that's why I think. But it looks super cool, and I was like, when I saw a couple of people doing it on TikTok, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna lose so much money, but it's gonna be so fun.
With actual cryptocurrency,
No,
like
no, it's literally it's this game. I was like, I want to play this game. I'll have to find a video for you later.
yeah.
So Tyler, you're making a YouTube channel. What's your
Yeah.
channel called?
It will don't have a name yet. But it's obviously going to be around the whole what's it like to be a software engineer, all the things that they don't tell you when you're going from school to corporate, because that's one thing that hit me, you
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and then just a
Yeah.
lot of finance stuff. But I don't know, I haven't found a name for it. I was supposed to shoot my first video yesterday, which obviously went pretty poorly because um, hopefully when I have my channel, my viewers don't see this, but I'll be shooting on my phone.
Mm.
But yeah, dude, freaking. So I can shoot 4K videos on my phone, but man, that takes up space.
I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Space on my thing went
That's the one thing we
gone.
don't fucking know is how much space video takes up.
Absolutely wild.
Insane amount.
It's insane. Yeah.
When we're
So, I
editing,
mean,
we pass shit back and forth. They're like gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes, and it takes so long. It's such a pain in the ass.
it's crazy. I think like the best way to do it, either I get some really good cloud storage where I just back everything up on there. I'm thinking about just getting an SSD, just having some external memory where I keep storing everything.
Well, it
I
takes
deleted
time.
everything off my phone.
But, like, I think I was looking at like 2 terabyte like memory cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anywhere from like $100 to $200.
Yeah,
That's not too bad.
Card.
no. But I don't think we would need that much memory because you'll post a podcast, I'll post a YouTube channel. After that, the footage is you trash it.
It's not necessarily like, well, the trashing is part of it.
We like it for our records, though. It'll be
if you
good to
ever
look back on.
If you ever wanted to keep your stuff, it's
Yeah.
very hard to, if you had like a 500 gigabyte, that's going to go up. If you're running an active channel, that's going to be gone in, I don't know, maybe a month, maybe.
Yeah, because you have a lot of videos going on that you didn't post yet, or you just have footage that you haven't edited yet. Yeah, no, that's a very good point, actually.
I was thinking about making a channel, kind of a day in the lifey.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason is I was enjoying it. I was enjoying recording yesterday. Just it's fun. You're making your own little film and something like that. So it's the whole aspect of making a business out of what you love, and it's powerful financially and just in a lot of ways to have an audience. A lot of people make a lot of money because they formed an audience, and it doesn't have to be a huge audience, and there's so many different ways to do it. So like just creating an audience and being able to reach out to people, it can lead to a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's enjoyable. I think everybody would enjoy making movies, and kind of like we're just talking. It's fun.
I told my brother to do it.
Yeah.
I think he should.
Yeah, start young. Yeah, that's the advice, man. Don't start working right away. Explore your
make a YouTube channel.
But yeah, I mean, so many people make YouTube channels that the market is super saturated, but so many people watch videos. Like, how many views did you guys get on your first podcast?
No idea.
Our
100, maybe a couple hundred. I don't know.
It was, I think, around like 200, 250.
Yeah, but like, isn't that crazy? Like, you guys didn't put any effort into advertising it. Or I think you guys like you guys had family and friends know that
it was like
did that.
I posted it on Facebook. I think he posted it on Instagram and Snapchat.
Okay, so do you think that's how you got the views, or is it just because YouTube is
I think
an audience and it was found?
Part of it too, being on the back end of it, is being able to see people's watch time. I don't know if Nick paid attention. Like, so seeing people's watch time is accompanied to like seeing your views.
Doing analytics.
So yeah, doing your analytics. So like you could have 1,000 people watch your video, and if your video is like an hour long, but you only have 1,000 minutes of watch time, means 1,000 people only got 1 minute into your video.
Yeah.
So like watching our analytics, you're able to see the same kind of things. So,
I think you on YouTube, I could be wrong. I remember hearing this somewhere where like it's considered a view if you watch for only like 2 minutes.
Something like that. Like
it's something stupid. It's something stupid. Because like this is like a 3-hour podcast at this point. If someone listens to 2 minutes of it, I get a view, which is, I mean, that's great for us, but it's just silly.
But then wouldn't they also have to watch the advertisements that are sprinkled out throughout the YouTube channel?
I've heard so much. Like, I know their ad rates and stuff.
We don't have ads.
Yeah, I think you need like a lot of hours of like 10,000 hours of watch time before you can start monetizing.
Just to get monetization, but like their ad rates once they get it are anywhere from like 1 cent to like 10 cents, really.
Yeah.
But like
finance channels, they have very good ad rates. Yeah.
But like, I don't know if that's depending on, if you click on their ad, do you get paid? Do you just watch their ad? Do you get paid?
I think it's just watch it. Yeah.
It like, even if you don't, like, if you hit skip ad, do you still get paid for that ad?
I think so.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because they're still paying you to have that on your video. Yeah,
For the space.
yeah,
Because
it's
at
still
least,
taking up space.
what's like the minimum time for that? It's like what, 5 seconds before you can skip the ad?
I think it's between 5. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
I mean, but
whatever,
even just having that, it's still an ad. You still
it's still enough.
are you?
for
How serious are you guys about the
discovering
podcast?
yourself.
Like,
It's fun.
is this
We like doing it.
really just for fun?
We like talking to the everyday people. That's what we're here for. We got you. You're a Seattle person. We have someone from Hawaii. People are cool. That's what, like, everyone likes the big podcasts that are interviewing famous people every day. Regular people are way more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more
But
relatable.
I think people don't like realize that though. Is that like,
Well, everyone wants to know what Elon Musk has to say, but
Of
you can't really fucking do anything with his information. Elon Musk says, "Yep, we're building these implants that go in your brain, and in 10 years you'll be AI." And like, okay, what are you gonna do with that? But when I get some fucking crazy person screaming about racism, it's way more amusing.
But I mean, a lot of podcasts. Do you even need guests? Like, if we just every day research a topic the day before and then just talk about our opinions about it, people would find that interesting.
That's what
you
those
gotta think,
that's what those assholes on YouTube do. They talk
if
about
you
the same shit every day. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
No. If you didn't have guests and you're just starting on a podcast, you're relying on natural growth, which is based on a bunch of other factors.
Me and John aren't that
Like,
appealing.
we're pretty cute, but you know,
And nobody gives a crap about us, really. You know, we're average.
Yeah.
Why would they care about us? That's why I think, yeah, you're right. Like,
We're
when
in
you're
it for the
starting something
fun,
out,
baby.
Most big podcasts that are either starting out or are big right now either had a following before or people who knew who they were before they started the podcast. But you know, it's not like that people that are starting out right now that don't have anyone aren't going to make it. It's just it is naturally harder to make it in the industry because of this.
Yeah.
You have
And a lot
all
of people do it.
Yeah, there is. It's a very saturated market because of that. But you know,
Absolutely.
there's people willing to pay. Like on YouTube, you know, your one stream of monetization is through YouTube, but you also have the sponsors, and that can go through other platforms as well. So you know, there's other ways to make your money from that.
Yeah. There's also donations with podcasts, which I didn't really fully understand.
That's really, I mean, as far as I understand, donations are through Patreon, if you have one, or if you live stream a podcast.
What about from the podcast app, like the ones that Apple already has installed and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
you can monetize through those. It's just an option. You basically just turn it on.
Yeah.
You just have donations turned on?
Oh, donations. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea.
Okay, monetization.
Okay,
cool.
Donations. I'll put my Venmo in the description. Everyone can donate to you can donate to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, you just build a following. People get used to your face and liking the things you say. Like we listen to Talha. Sorry, I know I'm out of the fucking frame right now. We listen to those couple of finance guys regularly, right? I don't know if you subscribe to them. I refuse to. But
why?
Because if you've ever watched, if you watch their last 6 episodes, I promise you, it all repeats. They just they don't come up with anything new. Like they each just they'll talk about credit cards, and they'll talk about how you should churn credit cards for rewards, and then the next 3 episodes later, it's gonna be another credit card episode about how you can churn rewards and the new type of credit card, and then they talk about real estate, and they just talk about the process so many times over and over again. I've stopped learning new information from all of them.
From them,
every once in a while, they'll accidentally slip with one of their secrets or things that they keep for their courses that they're constantly just shoving down your throat. But it's never new information. It's all stuff that you can, once you've watched 10 of their episodes, you've seen everything they're ever going to say.
Yeah.
But people just like that.
Yeah, I was actually just checking right now if I was subscribed to Graham Stephan, because yeah, you're right, absolutely the same thing. At this point, no, I think like he's really good for beginners and stuff like that, and people do enjoy watching. Sometimes I enjoy watching his videos just because I enjoy listening to him,
Yeah.
but the information isn't really valuable anymore at this point.
I was going through his channel the other day just because you brought him up by name, and like I was watching some of his most recent episodes, and then I flipped the sort and I watched like his 3 very first episodes, literally word for word, almost the exact same content.
Yeah.
Didn't change a bit. The only thing
Yeah.
is he had a better camera recording him in the newer ones.
But
Same
I mean,
content.
there are some finance ones who aren't as entertaining, but they have a lot more knowledge and things like that. But I think
Some
the
people
more
get
I've
really
gotten into-
granular.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think like the more I've gotten into YouTube, like at this point, I really like YouTube is just something I'm super interested in, just like watching them and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
now I actually, give them likes and stuff like that, because I get values out of it. And I actually put a lot of time watching it.
That's entertainment for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have cable anymore. Some people don't want to pay for streaming services. Sometimes people just have YouTube. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely you can definitely hook that market of people. But yeah, God, what
And
is
it's
this
just
show? What is this show, bro?
this podcast.
What is our show about?
Dude, young professionals starting their life don't know what the heck they're doing.
Say
Like,
it, baby.
but that's the thing. I wonder if there's a lot of people out there, but people want to see their journey. They would want to see our journey. I'm sure a lot of people can connect to us.
That's right.
They like listening to what we're going through.
Follow all of our social media. Follow all of our channels.
Link is down below.
Link in the
Subscribe.
description
Hit
down
that
below.
smash button. If you don't
Click
like
it.
it,
Click
give
it.
it a thumbs down.
Click it or ticket, baby. Click it or ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the show's new logo.
Plug zone merch.
The merch.
Do you guys think, how we talked about earlier, how like the country is kind of stuck in this flow where we all have to go work until we die, and it'd be really hard to change it. Do you think there's any type of event that could happen that would like cause a catalyst, that would act as the catalyst to change that type of thing, like aliens or Elon Musk turning us all into like AI? Like, do you think
It would be an age-based disease.
an age-based disease?
Yeah.
Just like something crazy that happens where like, I don't know, we don't need jobs anymore. It just seems silly. It's like,
it would be something that like kills off someone above a certain age.
you mean like coronavirus?
I know.
But I mean, not really exactly what you're saying, but eventually we will be getting like kind of who's that one guy that was running for president, the Asian tech guy?
Yes. Andrew Yang.
Oh,
Andrew
yeah.
Yang gang, baby. But yeah, what he was saying with the whole stimulus checks, that is something that we should be expecting in the future, because robots are taking over jobs, all the manual jobs. Like, you don't need humans for that. I'm sure Amazon is, as a company, they're dealing with people right now, but I'm sure they're putting a lot of money into automating all their warehouses and stuff like that. So like, I mean, yeah, eventually even programmers, as a software engineer, once programs can write programs,
Oof.
we're all useless. And at that point, we should be all expecting stimulus checks, but that's gotta be a weird world. If we're all getting money and have time everybody has time to do whatever, that's what would life be like? That's a really weird world.
I'm like trying to think, what would I want to do with myself? What do you think Joe Rogan does when he's not filming a podcast? Like, what does he do? What do famous people do?
He doesn't like. Do you not listen to his podcast? He has a fucking shooting range.
True, he does some wild shit.
He really does.
But dude, how cool is it that like this guy puts in these guys that have their own businesses and their gigs? They wake up, they work for 4 hours, they work for 5 hours, they do their thing, they put it out there, and then they have the whole day to do whatever.
Yeah, but a lot of them have built themselves.
It's like that though.
A lot of them have built themselves over time. Like I have watched some of his podcasts, and he talked about like when he worked in Fear Factor, how it's like a full-time job, and so, but over time, I'm sure it definitely gets easier. work becomes less.
I can't imagine it's like a one split fucking job. Like even if you owned your own business, I understand how like convenient that would be, but it can't be like 10 hours or like even 4 hours together. It would be like, 1 hour here, maybe 2 hours here, and then another hour there.
You do whatever you want whenever.
Well, I mean, you can
pay people to make that schedule for you.
But yeah, at that point, you're at the liberty to do what you want.
Yeah.
I also think that like if I had my own thing, my own business, I would not care to work all day on it if I'm enjoying it. When you're enjoying it,
how successful do you have to be to not run your own business?
What do you mean?
Say that again?
Like, how successful do you have to be to have a business, but then not actually take part in doing all the operations?
Depends on the business.
Like how successful do you have to be? Like, at what point did Elon Musk not have to be in his day-to-day business to
once
run
you
it?
hire enough people you trust, I guess. Like when.
But even.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Even Elon Musk is like. His days are like 12-hour days. The second he wakes up to the second he goes to sleep.
But doesn't he also have like 2 or 3 businesses?
He has a lot going on.
He has a lot of businesses, yeah.
And they're all in the growing phase. Tesla's not something that's cruising by.
Yeah, like people in those positions, they're strategists. They make plans all day. They might not be, doing analyses or literally strapping together rockets, but they're in meetings all day with different groups and people, talking about what direction they want their business to go in, and to make sure that everything that they do is following the vision that they saw when they started the company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you could be a trust fund baby, like Bruce Wayne. That's the dream.
Yeah. I mean, you got all the money and time, do whatever you want.
I'd be Batman. Undoubtedly.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How often do businesses change their business model as they start? I'm sure they have to adapt like crazy though. Like you don't do the same thing that you thought that your business was going to do.
I'm assuming it evolves over time. You watch trends, you see where the economy is going, and you make adjustments. But that's
my company. The company that I work for has changed 3 times.
Since when? Like in what time?
And that was like, I think it was like they changed first. They started like the early 1900s, and then 1970 it changed, and then the early 2000s.
Damn.
And that was like
It does it, but does that correspond? Does that correspond with the changing of CEOs? Because that's the job of the CEO, is to define the strategy of the company moving forward.
No. So with their change in business, in like name brand kind of things, they changed with the clientele.
Okay.
So like more people were looking for such a thing, and their old business model couldn't support that. So they had to update everything to support that new business model that could get the customer what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed the whole business. So maybe you start out as, I don't know, a fucking wholesaler. You just supply people stuff, and then you start your own store, and then you turn into like, I don't know, Macy's.
Growth.
Supply some, you're growing all the fucking time. It's the same thing. But then, like, I guess, minimizing everything.
I don't even remember what we're talking about.
Business and the adaptations that they have to go through.
Business. Yeah. Anyway.
Business? We're talking about business.
GG, guys. We made it. We're like 3 hours deep right now.
Dude, we're like, actually, 3 hours deep. I could talk all day. Yeah, I feel bad for you guys. You guys got to edit this crap.
I'll edit it. We have to edit it. I have to edit it.
Throw shade at me.
It's good practice for my YouTube channel. Hashtag follow Nick at Nicholas Alexander.
Do that.
Did you make your channel yet? Is it the same channel as this?
No, different channel. It'll be associated.
He's gonna have to make it before this comes out.
No, the channel's there. It's just empty. You can follow it right now. But yeah,
I haven't even done that part.
Number one.
I just did it just to have my name, just so it's not taken, I guess.
I gotta come up with a name for mine. I already think I'm gonna go by Mo.
Yeah. All right. Well, we talked a lot of shit. I still don't really know what this podcast is about. But Talha, thanks for meeting with us, buddy. I'm glad we got to talk to you.
Of course.
Everybody listening, if you've made it this far, follow Talha's YouTube channel. You'll find him. Once he comes up with a name for it, we'll start pimping it out in some of the descriptions and we'll post about it. Because he's our good old buddy Talha. So thanks for coming, man.
Of course. I'll be on every day.
Yeah. Make sure you guys are both, find your way back to Hawaii sometime soon. Of course. I bet.